I am delighted to be here at Speakers Playhouse Live in Dallas, and I've got three incredible speakers with me today, and they're going to share with you their journey and why it's so important that they've gotten from behind the microphone to in front of the microphone, whether that be a stage or a podcast. They're going to share their journey with you today and inspire you to get off your butt and start pressing record if you're not already, because your message is important to the world and we want you to share it. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Karen first, who's actually a podcaster too. So Karen, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. And I would love for you to speak a little bit about who you are, what you're all about.
Hi, I'm Karen Hall. I help entrepreneurs build relationships, trust, and self-love.
And Karen, what's it with that?
And my podcast is the Hero Within podcast.
Yes, love it. All right, go ahead.
That's awesome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at. It is great to see you guys. And my name is Will. I am the bow tie sober guy. And actually, I wear a bow tie almost every day. If you catch me without one, you'll have to make sure to say hi, or even with one on. So anyways, I help entrepreneurs actually untie and unravel all the knots that they have in their life and their business so that they actually then can go on to achieve all the results that they had always hoped for. Whether or not they're already there or not, it just really helped them untangle those knots and move forward and achieve those results in relationships and in business.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Will, for joining us. I love it. Are you helping entrepreneurs create bow ties, their own bow ties?
They can not create bow ties, but there is a metaphor with bow tie.
Love it. All right, Barbie, so great to have you joining us. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Barbie, and I help entrepreneurs to unleash their inner dragon so they can break through their self-imposed barriers. And you can work with me one-on-one, or you can work with me on my Empower Up Masterclass.
Awesome. So Barbie, I'm going to stick with you for a minute here. Tell us a little bit more about your journey. What was the pivotal moment where you're like, I need to share this message on a bigger stage with more people instead of just keeping it to myself? What made you want to get up on stages?
Well, that actually happened in a series of events. People like to joke and call me the Grim Reaper's favorite chew toy. I was hit by lightning. I was attacked by a swarm of bees where I learned I was allergic. I fell down a flight of stairs and was completely paraplegic, quadriplegic. Some days I was frozen from here down, and it took 1.5 years to find a surgeon that would actually operate and put me back together again. Oh. Throughout all my journeys of trying just to survive, I have always worked with people trying to help them empower themselves. And finally, enough people said to me, you need to talk to other people. You need to spread this message larger than just us. And so I took the leap and went into public speaking and trying to help as many people as I can before the Grim Reaper wins.
Oh my gosh. Wow, you have an incredible story. There's a lot of stories you could share there. I'm sure you have no shortage of content to share. So for people sitting at home, maybe thinking about wanting to get on the stage, what words of wisdom would you give them?
Well, the first thing I would say is that fear and excitement have the same chemical in your brain. So if you are actually thinking about getting on stage, that means you're brave enough to do it. So if you start to feel any fear whatsoever, you tell yourself, I'm excited and I can't wait to do this. And you step on that stage and make a difference, because we all have amazing messages. We all have amazing stories, and you can help everybody that listens to you.
I love that. So powerful. Was there a particular moment that you remember where you were like, okay, this is enough playing small, it's time to play big?
I think, yes. I think it was, I had been asked to speak and I kept saying no because I had so many people I was caregiving for. I'm a huge caregiver. I have a lot of people that I've been taking care of. And I finally went to everyone in my circle and said, if I keep saying no, one time they're going to stop asking. And I really want to make this move. So will you all support me? And can we find a way to still keep your health going and work together so that I can share this message with as many people who can hear it. And to the man, they all said, let's do this. And we will find a way to work with you and make this happen.
No, that's so great. So don't be afraid of saying yes, something that's on your heart. Is that the message you want people to really hear?
Yes. And even bigger than that, your story matters. If you have the feeling that you want to share it, make sure you share it. And the bigger you go, the more people you can help.
Yes. That message is not meant to stay inside of you, right?
No.
Amazing. Well, share with us a little bit more about your journey, your story, and what's some inspiration that you have for our listeners at home today.
Well, so my story is very long and involved, but I will tell you 2017 was a very pivotal year for me. In 2017, I had been was always a heavy drinker and a party. I was really a partier. I loved to party. But it got to a point where I was just kind of done. I'm in 2012, but I spent 5 years literally trying to get sober. And then February 28th to March 5th of 2017 were literally my emotional bottom. I spent most of my life kind of figuring out, I didn't feel like I belonged here anywhere. And finally on February 28th, I got to this point where I just didn't feel like I could go on any longer. And I literally spent the next 5 days doing nothing but trying to stay alive because that's all I wanted to do was take myself out of this world. Luckily, I have 2 boys that really, they were the ones, they weren't around, but just having them really kept me going. And then on March 5th, I checked myself into the emergency room and I spent 4 days in a psych hole. And I got sober and it was awesome. I wish that was the end of my story. But 10 weeks later, I actually had a horrible accident where it was at work and I slipped and fell. I was on a roof. And when I landed, I actually landed on a piece of metal that sliced my wrist to the bone. And now I looked over and both my arteries are literally bleeding out while I'm on a roof. And so 10 weeks prior to that, I didn't want to live anymore. And now I'm sitting on a roof, bleeding out, praying not to die. And again, those are sad stories, but that wasn't even enough to get me to quit drinking. 10 weeks later, I relapsed again, only to finally get sober in November of 2017. And I've been sober ever since. And so my journey is about alcoholism and overcoming those things. But you know what? That's not every journey. Every journey is different, but what I've learned in my recovery journey, that I've created the 6 steps that really can help people really achieve something they never thought was possible. And it warms my heart to see other people reach those goals that they had no idea that they could reach.
I love that. And especially if your goal is somewhere along sharing your message with the world too.
Absolutely.
Like no better place than start now and know that you have everything inside you that you can do, and your message, you don't need to be an expert, you don't need to be the author, you don't need to be anything, you just need to have the courage to start speaking up and start finally opening you. Right? Karen, share with us your story of what made you want to start sharing your message in a bigger, better way.
So my story starts with my birth. I was born 2.5 months premature, and I went down to 1 pound, 13 ounces shortly after birth. And they told my parents that I would die, but miraculously I defied death, and I'm here. And so I have had a feeling of being behind a lot in my life. I feel like I was always behind in groups. When I get with people, I think, oh, they're so far ahead of me. And I always feel like I'm trying to race to catch up with people. And I had a lot of fears that 2.5 months that I was all alone in the hospital. My mom couldn't hold me or nurse me or anything. And so I came away with some anxiety, and that has been a lifelong battle for me to overcome that. But it doesn't cripple me anymore. It used to be the kind of thing I was terrified to speak in front of people. I mean, absolutely terrified. And I started realizing with encouragement that I actually had something to say. And I remember my mom said to me, "You need to take a public speaking class." And I thought, me? Are you kidding? I'm the one who used to speak in front of people. And she said, "No, I really think you should. I think it would be good for you." And so I did. And I found out, I actually like sharing my story. I like talking to people, and I loved connecting with people. Connection is very important to me. And so now I have a podcast, the Hero Within podcast, and the message is about overcoming adversity. And So I love to hear people's stories. I love to interview people. My husband says we can't go anywhere without people telling me their life story. He says, you have a sign across your forehead that says, tell me your life story. And so I wanted to be able to share other people's stories and how they learned. And one of the things that when I have gone through some very big adversities in my life, I have felt very alone. Just like when I was born, I felt very alone. And I always wished that there was somebody that could relate, because when I did share my story with people, people would say, I don't even know what to say about that. I can't relate to you at all. And so I thought, I'll write a book and I'll share people's stories so that even if they don't know this other person, they might say, oh, I relate to that. I can understand that. That person felt that way. I'm not the only one that felt that way. And so then I decided, I can share those stories on the podcast. I can interview people and it could just go out to the world. And so that's how I decided to share my story. And the motivator for that is I didn't want people to suffer like I had. And I thought if I can save one person from suffering the way that I have, then my suffering wouldn't have been in vain.
Let's talk about your podcast for a second. I think that's all amazing. How long have you had your podcast?
I've had it for a little over a year.
Oh, so what's your favorite part?
My favorite part is making a new friend each week.
And what was the hardest part of getting it started?
The hardest part was learning how to edit, all the technical side of it, because I'm technically challenged. And so there was a big learning curve for me to do that.
So you did it. You edit your own podcast. Well, to amplify you sound, don't worry. You don't have to edit your own. You have a service like that.
Yeah, thank goodness you need Michelle. Connect with Michelle.
Don't worry. You don't need to learn that.
I didn't know Michelle.
It is a tricky thing to learn, and that's why I have a team that does it, because I want to learn it. Right? Well, that's fabulous. What's the name of your show again, and where can you find it?
It's the Hero Within podcast, and you can find it on any platform that you'd like to listen to, and you can connect with me at KarenHallCoaching.com.
Awesome. That's great. Love it. And you should go check out Karen's podcast. Bill, where can we connect with you and any last words or ways to...
Well, first of all, I have to say that I, after being here, I'm looking at starting my own podcast and video. It'll probably be more video, but it'll be called, I believe, Bowtie Tuesday. So it'll happen every Tuesday. But if you want to get a hold of me, go to bowtiesoberguy.com. And you can learn about me there. You can contact me if you have other questions. But that's the easiest way to get a hold of me.
What's your parting words of wisdom?
You know what I would say is don't let your past dictate your future. So many of us get so hung up on that and let that hold us back. Like every day, literally today, remember, today is your tomorrow's yesterday. So you need to make today count.
Ooh, I like that. That's very... And today is a better day to start than today, right? Like if you, I like what Kimberly Crow said, like your best speech is the one that happens next. Exactly. Right? It's really great. I love that. Barbie, how about you? What's your parting words of wisdom, and where can you find out more information about you?
So you can find me at empowerwithbarbie.com. And I think the most important thing is that the only barriers in life are the ones we place in front of ourselves and above ourselves. So step back and figure out if you're placing barriers there, why? Fix it. Change it. Don't ever limit yourself, because whatever you have to give is so important. And if you limit yourself, you'll never know, and the rest of the world will never benefit from your magic.
So powerful. Guys, gosh, we have some incredible speakers here where I am, and you've heard from 3 incredible people. I hope that they've inspired you to start sharing your message with the world today. There's no waiting for tomorrow. Just start today, but with a little step. One little step leads to lots of more steps, which equals lots of results. And as we say in podcasting, it's like evolving out loud. And if you're not embarrassed by your first few episodes, you waited too long to get them out there. So until tomorrow, see you next time, guys.